Okay, so dear students, in the last class we just dealt with the process of microsporogenesis. In that you have seen how the microspores are formed, and these microspores will later form the pollen grains. So today we will discuss about how the pollen grains are getting formed. So you know that the pollen grains are actually developed from the pollen mother cell by meiotic division. Okay, and these pollen grains are actually representing the male gametophyte. And you know that microspores are round in shape. So generally the pollen grains are also spherical in structure. And you can see that as the anther matures and dehydrate means lose the water content, the microspores will dissociate from each other, they separate from each other and develop into pollen grains. Okay, and each microsporangium contains thousands of pollen grains, because you know from one pollen mother cell 4 microspores are produced. So there are many pollen mother cells, so thousands of pollen grains will be produced, and these pollen grains are released with the dehiscence of the anther. Dehiscence means the breaking of the anther along the line of dehiscence. Okay, that is how the pollen grains are getting formed. Now we will see about the structure of a pollen grain. Actually, you can see that the pollen grain is made up of two layers or two walls. It can be called as the outer layer and an inner layer. Okay, so the layer can be known as, the outer layer is known as exine and the inner layer is known as intine. Okay, now let us talk about the outer layer, which is known as the exine. This is actually a very hard layer which is made up of a substance known as sporopollenin, which is one of the most resistant organic material present in nature. Okay, and coming to the intine structure or the intine layer, we can say that it is made up of cellulose and pectin. Okay. Now we should know that the pollen grains are actually well preserved as fossils because of the presence of this sporopollenin material. Understood? And I told you that the inner layer is the intine layer, which is made up of cellulose and pectin. Now the exine layer has a small aperture where the sporopollenin is absent, and that small aperture is what is known as the germ pore. It is through this germ pore the pollen tube will be growing out, okay, during the time of pollination and the pollen germination. Now the newly differentiated pollen grain has got a central nucleus and a dense cytoplasm, and the entire pollen grain is covered over by the membrane which is known as the plasma membrane. Okay, and you can see vacuoles developing inside which will push the nucleus towards a particular side. So this is the structure of the pollen grains. Understood? Now when the pollen grains become mature, it will start to divide mitotically into two unequal cells. Okay, mitotically it is going to divide into two unequal cells with nucleus. And we will see what are the two types of cells that is getting formed. First type of cell is known as a bigger vegetative cell, and the second type of cell is known as a smaller generative cell. Now this is what is known as the two-celled stage of pollen formation. Now in majority of the angiosperms, you can see that the pollen is getting released at this two-celled stage where the pollen is having a bigger vegetative cell and a smaller generative cell. Whereas in other species, the small generative cell will divide into two male gametes, and now we say that this pollen grain is said to be in the three-celled stage with two male gametes and a bigger vegetative cell. So this is known as a three-celled stage of the pollen grain. Now coming to the bigger vegetative cell, you can see that it is rich in abundant food reserve. Okay, food materials are stored here, and it has a large irregular nucleus. And this is mainly responsible for the development of pollen grain, which is giving nourishment to the pollen grain. And coming to the smaller generative cell, it is actually spindle shaped. spindle shaped, and it is involved in syngamy, or what is known as the fusion with the egg. So the smaller generative cell is actually undergoing fusion with the egg during the time of fertilization, and it is provided with dense cytoplasm and nucleus. So this is the structure of the pollen grain. Have you understood? So with that, we have come to the end of pollen grain formation. Next, we will see about the pollen viability. Pollen viability means it is a period for which the pollen grains can remain functional, and it depends upon the prevailing temperature, humidity, etc. And you can say that in some cereals like rice and wheat, the pollen grains can remain viable for around 30 minutes. But in many such cases, self-pollination occurs. In some members of families like Rosaceae, Leguminosae family, etc., you can say that pollen grains have a viability for several months. So pollen viability depends on temperature as well as humidity. And now let us see about what is meant by a pollen bank. See, actually pollen banks are places where we can store and keep this pollen for future use. So here the pollen grains of a large number of species can be stored for years using liquid nitrogen, which is storing it under minus 196 degrees Celsius. And that is what is meant by pollen bank. Like the storage of sperms of many animals can be done, the pollens of specific species of plants can be stored and can be used for crop breeding programs similar to seed banks. Okay. The next we will see what is meant by pollen allergy. Pollen allergy means certain people develop certain inflammation reactions which when inhaled, the pollen when inhaled, they will show some reactions which are otherwise known as allergic reactions or pollen allergy. Okay, these may lead to chronic respiratory disorders like asthma, bronchitis, etc. So there is, that a troublesome weed which is known as Parthenium or the carrot grass, it has become very troublesome to people, and it causes pollen allergy. Actually, its seeds came to India as a contaminant with imported wheat from USA, and it has grown in abundance everywhere. Now it has become a very troublesome weed that is causing allergy. Okay. And next we can say that these pollen grains are actually very nutritious. So we are making so many products related to pollen which are known as pollen products. Pollen grains are actually rich in nutrients including unsaturated fats. So in Western countries, usually people use it as a food supplement. And these pollen products are available in the market in the form of tablets or syrups in recent years. And these countries, the use of pollen tablets as a food supplement has become a fashion. And pollen consumption has also increased the performance of athletes and race horses. So usually they are taken as supplements, which has found to increase the performance of this athletes. Okay, so that is the importance of pollen products. So with this, we have come to the end of pollen grains and the pollen products. Next, we will move on to the next topic called megasporogenesis.